Hi, math friends. We're going to look at our study guide together for our first topic here, which is distributive property, least common multiple, and greatest common factor. So number one here, it says use the distributive property to write an equivalent expression to 8 times the quantity 3 plus 2. One way we could do this is when we distribute, we multiply. So this is 8 times 3 plus 8 times 2. Now I could simplify that to 24 plus 16. We could also simplify that to 40. We've got to be prepared for all different kinds of answers. Right? So here's my final answer. These are also all equivalent expressions. All three of these are. Okay? Number two, what are common factors of 24 and 32? Be really careful with this. This does not say greatest common factor. So I'm going to think of numbers that multiply to get 24. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6, and that's it for this one. Okay, so let's go to the number 32. 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 3 doesn't work, 4 times 8, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, so we're done. Okay, now what do they have in common? They have in common a 1, a 2, they have 4 in common. They also have 8. And that's it. So my common factors here are 1, 2, 4, and 8. Next one, what are the common multiples? So again, here it doesn't say least common multiple, it just says common multiples. So I want to go 3 and 4, but between 1 and 30. So I want to count by 3s until I get to 30. All right, so once I get to 30, I'm going to be done. So I'm not going to go any higher than 30. With 4, same idea. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. But 32 is higher, so I'm not going to use that. Now what's in common here? 12, 24, that's it. So 12 and 24. Those are my common multiples of 3 and 4 between 1 and 30. Now we're going to go for our least common multiple. This is the skill that we practice a lot, right? It says using prime factorization, but you can use whatever method you want. So if I list my multiples, that's a way to go. I suggest listing like 5 or 6 to start with, and then you can find if you've got a match. Okay, we want to find our least in common. So I'm seeing 30s in common. I'm going to check really quickly. Do I have anything before that matches up? I do not. So the LCM here is 30. Next one is our prime factorization and finding greatest common factor. So I'm going to do each number, so 18 and 72. Numbers that multiply to get these, right? Like 9 times 2. I can use my prime number chart to check. 2 is prime. 9 is composite. 9 is 3 times 3. So my prime factorization is 18 equals 3 times 3 times 2. Now we'll go for 72. 9 times 8 is one way to get 72. And 9 again is 3 times 3. 8 is 2 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. You could start these multiple ways, but as long as we will get the same primes, we're going to be okay. 72 equals 3 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. I have 3 2's there. Now for my GCF, I'm going to look at what matches. I match up a 3, I match up another 3, and I match up a 2. So they've got to match in both. These 2 2's at the end, they're both with 72, so I don't count that. Finally, for my GCF, I multiply them. 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. All right, calculating our quotient here, so dividing. Remember, when I want to divide by a fraction, here's my tip: keep, change, flip. I'm going to keep my first fraction, change to multiply, flip the second. When I do this, I use my multiplying. 3 times 16, 8 times 9. Now I want to see if I can do any simplifying before I multiply. 3 and 9 can both divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. then I also look at 8 and 16. They can both divide by 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So my final answer here, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. I get to 2/3. If I didn't do that, I would have larger numbers to try to simplify, but I can simplify first. Same thing with my mixed numbers. First, I need to make these into improper. So I've got 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So I got 19 over 3, divided by 2 times 9 is 18, plus 4 is 22. 22 over 9. Now I do keep, change, flip. 19 over 3 times 9 over 22. Now I can simplify. 9 and 3 both divide by 3. So I've got 3 and 1. 19 and 22. 19 is prime. It doesn't have any common factors with 22. So now I multiply. 19 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. 3, 4, 5. 57 22seconds. This is technically in lowest terms. Or, how many times does 22 go in 57? Twice. How many left over? 2 times 22 is 44. So I subtract. Or I could have 2 and 13 22seconds. Number 8. Kirsten has 5.5 feet of wood. She is creating a sculpture and needs to divide the wood into 3/4 foot pieces. How many pieces can she cut from the wood? Write and solve a division problem to represent the situation. Then write a sentence to describe your answer. So she's going to take 5.5 feet of wood, divide it into 3/4 foot pieces. Right? So we're going to do our multiply and add. So 11 over 2, keep, change, flip. Now I can divide out. 4 and 2 divide by 2. So I have 11 times 2 over 1 times 3. So I've got 22/3. Now this one, I have to answer this question. How many pieces can she get? 3 goes into 22 without going over 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21, so that leaves 1 left over. So 7 1/3. So realistically for this one, she can cut 7 pieces of wood. Right? So watch that, review for yourself. I hope that helps, and always work hard.